welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke, and today we're going to be doing a DIY. We're going to be doing a simple, pretty self-watering planter DIY. So if you've not yet, make sure to subscribe so you can be up to date on all my latest videos. And if you are a recurring viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching another video. This is a very easy, quick DIY. And so I actually did this for my Calathea orbifolia last year. I think it's been a year now. I have a short on it. You can go check it out on my channel. But the cat is here and we're going to do it again. I decided to do another one because it has worked out so well for this Calathea. So this is a Calathea orbifolia, and I really love Calathea. I think that they are beautiful, very unique. However, they don't like to dry out and they are very specific on their water. And so I was having a really hard time keeping these guys alive. I've had 3 other orbifolias. This is my 4th, and every one of them has died. So this has been a success. Like it's alive, it's doing really well, and I have not had any issues with it. And it has required minimal to no care, basically. So I purchased this as a 4-inch little plant, and it's grown to a larger, I believe I have it in a 6-inch pot here, dead leaf. So it's grown a lot. And yes, there are browning edges. That is just the Calathea lifestyle of constantly needing humidity as well as the perfect water and all of that. But honestly, it has been few and far between since transplanting it into this self-watering planter that the edges have been brown. I think that this is probably because of the heat, because we've had the heat on. It's been winter. And so otherwise the new foliage looks beautiful and is very fresh. Even the older foliage down here, these are some of the like old leaves. This is how small they were. And then this is how large they're getting. And so it really has grown and done very well in this self-watering planter. Let me explain what that is. So I took a terracotta pot. So this is planted in a terracotta right here. And I took this vase that I found at Home Goods for, I think it was $15. It's a really pretty glass vase, and it has this very like hallucinogenic, you can see that coloring. I really loved it because it reminded me of the Urban Outfitters pot. So there is a really pretty self-watering planter from Urban Outfitters. However, I think it was like sold out or an older style, and it was about $60. So definitely did not want to pay that much for a small pot. And so I decided to get this and just test it out. I kept it as a centerpiece on my table for a lot of months. And so it got southwest facing window, but really not a lot of light at all whatsoever. I have noticed when I've had Calathea in the past, specifically the orbifolia, they do not like high light. I had these under a grow light, burned them, did not like it. And I mean, it wasn't very close to the grow light. It was pretty far down. Did not enjoy the high light. I have found that the orbifolia's leaves, the foliage is extremely thin, like a lot of Calathea leaves are, and it just quickly disintegrates under light. And so I have kept this now by a Santee 5-watt grow light. So it is a very low wattage light. It's actually on the opposite side of the light where it's facing, and it's grown to this. And so it has really liked its life. I keep it filled at about here, like right here. You can see that water line at all times. And I use filtered water. So that is one thing that if you do want to keep these guys happy and not so brown, is to use filtered water. It isn't such a pain to me when I'm just filling this up once, and I fill it up once it's all the way dry. I leave it a day and then I'll come back and fill it up, and it's never caused any issues. So it is soaking up water through this really gross, macrame string here. So this is what we'll be using today. This is what you need next to a vase, a glass vase. or something sealed, a sealed vase. It could be plastic, it could be glass, it could be a sealed ceramic, but it cannot be terracotta pot. And so what I did was I planted the string, or I put the string on the bottom, and then I just planted the plant as usual, and then I stick it in here, and it is enough, or the string has enough length to hit the water, and that's what just pulls it up whenever the plant needs it. And so it's a very easy, maintenance free way to water your plants, especially when it comes again to Calathea. I've seen people use this on their alocasia because both are known to not like to dry out and to be more on the moist side. So this has really helped my Calathea orbifolia. I guarantee you it's the only reason this plant is still surviving. I've really enjoyed how, again, low maintenance this is. And so I decided to do it again. So I have been looking for a few pots and such from Home Goods, because again, that's where I first purchased this vase at. And I haven't found anything really. I haven't found anything like this before, or again, I mean, because I really wanted to put my Queen Anthurium in one. My Queen Anthurium doesn't like to dry out. I don't use filtered water on it, but again, it just doesn't like to dry out. And so I have struggled with watching it and knowing when to water and when to not. And I would really like to just transfer it to a self-watering planter. I was trying to make it a pretty glass, planter like this, but again, I haven't been able to find anything like this. And I really don't want to take this one away from the orbifolia since it's doing so well. So I'm still on the lookout for that. But I did find this. So I found this glass vase. It has the same like pattern or ribbing on the outside, and it's got that, pretty coloring, but it is glass. This was $5, and I believe it was labeled as a candle holder. So this, I don't know, this is a vase, like it's a vase, surely. This is definitely has like, a wider top, but a skinny, narrow, I don't know. So candle holder, I'm not sure, but I thought this would be perfect for a smaller plant of mine that I've also been struggling with knowing the water and knowing when to water it, I guess. So this is my Anthurium forgetii. So I repotted this guy, I don't know, a couple videos ago. I potted it up and put it on a plank because it was leaning. And so it's done a lot better on this plank. It's held up and it's straight. But now I need to get the watering down because it doesn't like to dry out either. And so I do have this in my well-draining chunky soil mix. And so I am thinking, oh, that's what this is also planted in. Not quite the same. This is just orchid bark. I think it has a little bit of soil, a lot of perlite, and I'm not sure if that's it, if it has charcoal or not, because at one point I was using charcoal, so it might have that in there. This is just coco coir, orchid bark, leca, all of that stuff. And so I decided that I'm going to use this as a self-watering planter and put my forgetii in it. So it fits perfectly in here because these are the tapered edge, or tapered edge. These aren't tapered edge. They're just tapered pots, terracotta. And so it can just fit perfectly in there like that, and it could be so cute. Don't love this big plank situation going on, so I might remove that and figure something else out, but I really thought, yeah, that would work. So one thing when you're looking to make or convert a vase or candle holder into a self-watering planter, you do not want the planter, like that your actual plant is in, to be sitting in the water. That's called bottom watering, and it will overwater your plant. You want it to be able to have enough room between the bottom where the water reservoir will be and the top of the pot, or the bottom of the pot. And so you never want it to be sitting in the water. You always want it to just be the wick soaking it up into the plant whenever it is needed. Again, if your plant is just sitting in the water, that is bottom watering it, and you will overwater it. And so this is the perfect height for this guy. There's plenty of room to put water just in this bottom portion, and then string all the way down, and the pot will be out of the waterway. So I thought, let's do it. Let's do it again and try it and see how this guy likes that. I'm honestly not using filtered water for it. It's done really well. It doesn't have any spots like my queen gets. Like if my queen gets to be dry, it immediately starts to get crispy and mad. And so this hasn't done that like that. It just gets really droopy and floppy, and it just sags, and these cardboard leaves turn into paper. So I do unfortunately have to unpot this, whoa, and put the macrame string in it. So really that's the only step that I have to do here. So I'm just going to show you how. All you need, again, is a glass vase, macrame, and your plant. I couldn't tell you if it's okay to keep it in a plastic planter. I am assuming yes. I have always just used the terracotta pots for all my plants, so it's what I have in the Calathea, or have the Calathea in. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's going to help with the drying out and it not just staying so moist. But again, if it's a self-watering planter, I've seen plastic self-watering planters. So I guess all I'm saying is I don't think it matters what type of pot you have. It just needs to be tapered so that it can fit down into the hole that you're placing this in. So this forgetii sits under the Sansy clip light that this plant is getting like ambient light off of. I've had it there since I purchased this, and it's done very well in that situation. It is not a direct light. It is not even the brightest light. Again, it is a 5-watt Sansy clip light. I have quite a few of those clip lights, and I think that they work really well for my plants. So it will just probably need to be moved now. I realize that because it's going to be in a taller pot. So we're going to completely remove the plant. That is the first step, so that you can place your macrame string, which this again is macrame string. I did my first round and somebody's like, that's not macrame string. Well, on Amazon it's listed as macrame string. That's all I know. So I will link it below. It is a big spool of it, and I've had it for years because I make my own macrame hangers, as you can see all of them back there. So I just used it. So once your plant is completely removed from the pot, you are going to then take your macrame string and cut it. I think I just doubled it. I don't even think I put 4 on it. I believe I just put 2. No, I did double it. Okay, so I doubled the string. So you take, I estimate, you know, I don't know. I do this. This is what I did last time. And I just hold it down to the bottom, like hold the string up to the bottom of the pot. If I can get there, and then just let it touch the bottom of this vase. And that's kind of where how much I for sure need. And then I just go a few extra, because once you put it in the pot, it's gonna, you know, flatten out and it isn't going to be as long. So just a few extra, like maybe an extra inch, not even. We will cut it down to size once I put it in the actual pot. But then I just double it up. So I'm going to make like that. So there are now 4 strings, and then I'm just going, or strands, and then I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to cut this loop that's down at the bottom. Could have done that maybe easier, but yeah, because literally it's just 2 strings cut to the same length, okay? And then you just fold it in half. So now this is the part where the loop is going to go in the pot. So I do go through the bottom. I just find it easier. So I just stick it to the drainage hole. That is one thing. You will need to add drainage holes if your pot does not have drainage holes. And then just let it hang like that. And so now when I test out the pot, hopefully, yep, it goes all the way down to the bottom. I will cut it off a little bit probably because it is a little bit too long. But now that you have this, I kind of just bury it. So I don't let the plant's roots touch it. I honestly just keep it like that. Bury it a little bit so that it's stable in there and it's not going to move. And then I repot my plant. So there I have it. There is my plant repotted back into it. There's my string. So I'm just going to cut it off a little bit. And I did not put the plank back on this because, again, it just was too much for this pot. But then I just stick it back in there, and now it fits all the way down to the bottom. The string is reaching. That is it. Now all I do is fill it up and just watch it. Again, I let it dry out, at least my orbifolia, about a day, and then I will refill it. Sometimes longer because I forget about it. It sits on top of our fridge. But I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how long in between each watering is. Honestly, I feel like this guy goes a month and a half without me having to fill it back up. And so this small guy, I'm not sure. It might be even longer than that. But it takes up water when it needs it and keeps it well moist. And so it's never like extremely damp, I will say that. This soil is never like sopping wet. It is always just like underneath, like down, just wet. I don't know how to describe it, but I will see how this guy does in this. I think this is really cute. And now you have a nice, lovely little centerpiece, self-watering planter, just a super fun, unique way to showcase your plants. That was my easy DIY self-watering planter. Again, I'll link all of the things below. The macrame hanger, you just need a pair of scissors, a plant, and again, check out your local Home Goods, Michael's. I'm trying to think of other places like TJ Maxx, you know, all of those good stores that have homeware like this, like glassware. Let me know in the comments if you like this, if you have tried this before, and what plants you have in them. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.